we in the last episodes, right, the first two episodes, we talked about the change, right, in the maintenance and the living conditions over time after the British left, and the upkeep was not so good. So eventually, most of these buildings, houses in the Canberra quarters were demolished, right?
Yes.
What happened to the community hall?
That too, I think, went. No trace of it. I was trying to get Alfred to check it out because it is not very far from that pretty well-known Indian temple, the Balasubramaniam temple there, which was, can I say the word, use the word founded? So this neighbor of mine, the father had a dream to start a temple there. So he started with this small setup, and then later on they developed that place into a temple proper. And after the British withdrew, they have that premises relocated somewhere in Yishun now.
I see.
The Balasubramaniam's temple. And this recreation community hall is just about 200 yards, 200 meters apart. So it's nearby, yeah.
Just to do a short bit about the religious buildings, there was a church inside the naval base, right?
Used to be. And then they acquired a land just outside Canberra Gate, and then established that Catholic Church, what is it called? Star of the Sea.
Right.
And that too has been relocated to somewhere in Yishun again now.
Was there a Protestant church?
A small one, but I don't know where it went afterwards. It was at the end, not quite at the end. In fact, where Delhi Road and Kowloon Road meets in the map, at the corner there.
Maybe we should just take a look at the map, huh?
Just diagonally.
Do you think it's showed on the map?
No, I don't think it will be in the map. That was built later on.
Okay, let's just take a look anyway. So there's a church here, Canberra Cinema. There is a Roman Catholic church. Is that the one you were referring to, right? The Star of the Sea. Okay.
No, after that they vacated that place, and then they got a property outside outside Canberra Gate.
Right. Okay. Any other religious?
The Protestant church will be here somewhere. This angle block 19, Kowloon Road, Delhi Road Junction.
Yeah.
I mean, where they meet at the right angles.
Yeah.
Just at the back of the angle block, I was told that they built a Protestant church there.
Yeah, unfortunately not shown here. Okay, so
and not in this old map. Not in this old map.
Just now you were referring to the 14th mile. Right here is the 14th mile. Can you see it? Sembawang Road, right? Sembawang Village.
Yeah.
So the Sarabat store, is that the one you were referring to around here? 14th mile.
Where the word Sembawang Village.
Yeah.
Up here, yeah. Sembawang Village. That's where would be the original Sarabats. In fact, that space used to be Teh Koyat's bus terminus. So I think they got an exchange of parcel of land. They moved that terminus right to the top end of the road, of Sembawang Road, towards the beach. And that vacant space with concrete flooring, cement flooring and all that, converted into a patio or a Sarabat store.
I see that inside the base, there is an Asian school here, right? Or along
Admiral
Durban.
Asian School, yeah.
So there was also kind of an Asian community in this area.
No, we guys go to that school before.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any Asian quarters around here?
Pakistan Road.
Pakistan Road. Where
Just here, somewhere here.
Pakistan Road.
Where you can see number 4.
Yeah.
And that's Pakistan Road.
Okay. Yeah. So are these Asian quarters? These are Asian quarters.
These are Asian quarters, largely the police, the uniformed police guys.
Okay.
But the school is open to all of us over this side of the living quarters, Canberra lines and all that, Kowloon Road and all.
I see. I mean, how big was Sembawang village compared to Chong Pang?
I think Sembawang village was a little smaller.
Yeah, because I think this Asian quarters here is rather smaller compared to the Canberra one.
Yeah,
right?
These are all wooden blocks.
Oh, really?
Largely wooden blocks. It is now presently some rehab center there, I was told.
Can I ask you what is this? Wan Hin or Wah Hin?
Wah Hin, that's not quite a pub, and it's a food place where you can buy your drinks and all that.
I see.
Interesting. And you can get your meals, hot meals cooked there.
They actually labeled it, so it must have been quite significant. And this one is Old Admiralty Quarters along Canada Road, is it? Do you remember this one? Old Admiralty Quarters. They are long blocks like this.
Oh, this is the old, in fact, we call it the old medical quarters. You see the water tower down there? They have the water processing.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Where
John took a photo in front of it, I think.
Yeah, John grew up here in the medical quarters. And then when they started the Naval Base Asian Hospital, they created another set of quarters for those staff working in the hospital, of which Alfred's dad was a hospital staff, and he is staying up there.
I see.
Can you pull the map towards
where?
Canberra Road Hospital and dispensary.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just at the back over this, you see the X-ray departments and all that. So they have some quarters built there in lieu of those other ones.
So this one is the kind of new one built later on.
Yeah, they built when they had this Asian hospital.
Okay.
Up there.
Any memories? Could you say something about NAAFI?
NAAFI is their supposedly uniformed servicemen's shop where they get a lot of duty-free stuff. You get to buy a lot of duty-free stuff, but apparently that is also extended to the civilian whites, expats. So we get to enjoy an occasional purchase if we know somebody who's working down there, a staff working there. We can get the staff to help us buy one or two things.
Could you get liquor and cigarettes?
Yeah, all that duty free we can get.
Wow.
But we never really try to exploit the situation of the friend who's working there to buy stuff for us. So we just live and let live kind of thing.
You are not a drinker or smoker, right?
Not when I was growing up, but when I was having a little crazy time with those boys down there. Yeah, we went. I went crazy for a little while.
There's also a cinema here near NAAFI. Is that a European cinema?
That was, I think, the same cinema which I had it on the photo for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Could you show where was the 2 rows of shop houses?
Jalan Kedai.
Yeah. Where is that?
This would be that one. Here. You see Canberra Cinema at the bottom?
Yeah.
The 2 rows.
What, these two?
Yeah. Yeah, that one, that row down, and this row.
This is Jalan Kadai. Is this the one?
Yeah, that's Jalan Kedai. Yeah.
Okay.
And those are the other 4 blocks of living quarters of block 83, 84, 85, and 86. So if you have a chance to interview our Dr. Singh friend, he grew up there.
Right.
He grew up in block 86 near Jalan Kedai. He's got a lot of stories for you too.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you, right, is the heritage conservation,
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we are now looking at a place that's been completely leveled. Do you think some of these buildings, facilities could have been conserved?
I should think so. I should think so. Essentially, for example, maybe the water tower is a good feature to have retained.
Yeah.
The old Admiralty quarters.
Yeah.
There's a water tower where the processed water which we get from Johor is pumped up to this tower and then driven down to apply the pressure throughout the whole place.
Okay.
So that's, I think, something not many parts of Singapore would have experienced this kind of water supply.
You know this guy? Can you see?
I can't remember his face.
Isn't this John?
I'm not sure this is John younger.
Or his brother, or his relative or friend. I thought this was John.
I can't remember his face as like this when he was growing up.
Do you recognize the houses?
Yes.
Very similar, right? With the staircase.
Yeah, this is a different sort. Yeah.
Right. And there are a few more.
A higher pitch staircase.
This one, there's a cannon here.
This is the Boys Brigade member. Who can this be?
Mm-hmm. And this is not John either.
I can't recognize if it was John. Because I remember his face much like what he looks like today when we were playing football together.
And what was the building behind?
That must be one of the... Hang on.
It says here 1935.
I'm not sure if this was actually in HMS Terror.
Right.
This sort of building reminds me of some blocks inside the Terror base, HMS Terror base, where the sailors come into Singapore and the ship is being attended to. These uniformed sailors go into this place called HMS Terror, which now the Singapore government has taken over and then allocated it to the Navy, Singapore Navy, for, I think, one purpose was to develop the diving unit, the Singapore Navy diving unit inside. This building looks like one of those inside there.
Big building. Yeah.
Yes.
I think this is John. I'm quite sure it's this John.
Yeah, this is more like John.
So I
This
think
is more
that
like
one
John.
was his friend or his brother.
Yeah, this is his times has not changed.
And this is where you said those old Admiralty quarters were, right?
Just yeah, show the background a bit more. Let me try to recognize it.
You mean smaller or bigger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Reduce it a bit.
This looks like a different kind of house, right? Older, maybe?
These are not the quarters, I think. Doesn't seem to be the quarters. Or could be.
Should be, right? There's laundry here.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, could be the old quarters. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely looks older, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's wooden actually. The one in the back is very dark.
Yeah. All those those quarters are all wooden those days. And
yeah,
when I ran around there to play, a few of the blocks have been demolished already. So they were actually vacating the people from there.
Yeah. So we are talking about the different buildings that are quite historical, quite memorable. So you mentioned the water tower. Are there other buildings that could have been conserved that more like reflects the way of life, the community in the naval base?
At least if they had any imagination to keep some of the blocks, those single stories or the double story blocks, that would be, I think, very nostalgic and very meaningful to a lot of us. Like I said, even the huge concrete pillars holding the gates would have been wonderful.
Yeah, the naval base has sort of been neglected, right, as one of the places of our heritage and social memory. We don't have a like exhibition gallery dedicated to this area.
Yes.
Even though large numbers of people in Singapore live there and work there, for a long time.
In fact, I was talking aloud with Alfred, and we were considering whether it's worthwhile setting up a little place called the Naval Base Museum or something like that. So at least if there were any artifacts that some of us are in possession of, could be contributed and then house it in this place for posterity, like a set of the naval police uniforms, the full set, the baton and their outfit, as with maybe also the firemen.
So someone has these things, has kept these uniforms.
I am not surprised really they have kept it.
Yeah.
In fact, I would have, if it was unfortunate that my late friend, who is an ASP, Assistant Superintendent of the Naval Police Force, has passed away. He would have a lot of, I think, stuff to share, I believe, as well as artifacts, things like that. And some of the children, I'm not sure whether they had kept their dad's items like this.
Yeah.
And we can also, we were also trying to contact some of the British guys, what they have in a way that they can contribute to as, items into this museum, sort of.
And how was the response from them?
No, we were just talking aloud,
Okay,
and
you were
we
just
were just
considering it.
toying the idea. If
Right.
anything serious, I think we can still, well, it's time yet, to get involved and then make a concerted effort to have something like that.
Definitely.
We can actually, I don't know what's the whole purpose and use of the Admiralty House is now. At one time, it was a restaurant and this and that, and then a school and whatnot. So if we can have one wing of that building, that would be good itself, because I think it's a heritage building now, although they did some painting and whatnot on the outside. But if we can have one wing of that building to house some of these artifacts, that will give the people who wants to know a bit more of the history of the base to really see. I don't know whether it's worth it.
I mean, if you look at Queenstown, right? When they were talking about first talking about redeveloping the Queenstown Central, so there was a group that came up, the My Queenstown, to document the history and to, in fact, they created a museum.
Have they?
They did.
That's good.
It's originally, the original one I think was in the void deck, right, of the HDB flat, and then it got en bloc, and they subsequently moved to another part of Queenstown. So definitely feasible. Yeah.
In fact, we should get the cooperation and involvement of the town council at this, to do it. Let them give us the place of an allocation of a space and say, okay, here, you guys under the town council, you can use this place as a museum.
Yeah.
Then we don't have to run around like crazy.
Yeah. When I put out your first episode, someone wrote to me, I don't want to say who he is, but he's kept his father's photos.
Wonderful.
His father worked in the dockyard and sailed. So he was a sailor, he's a crewman. And so he has lots of photos of the ships on which he sailed. But the thing is, he was going to throw them away because he's not based in Singapore.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a place anymore. So it's quite urgent also, right? To try to get started right away, or at least to collect things, especially when people pass away and their children, maybe cannot take hold of these items.
And they can't associate too deeply with it, you know. So this guy's collection or whatever he has will be good. And in fact, the photos could be a photo book or album where it can be like save and then use it like a coffee table sort of exhibit inside the museum. People can actually flip the pages of it, a photo album and things like that. That might also include perhaps, the factories inside the dockyard and places like that, all in, So it would be quite good. Maybe we can segregate by category, the place of work or the place we live, So different albums, people can have a look.
Yeah, we should also document the stories, right? The museum
I
should also
think so.
contain the stories.
I think I was looking at maybe the whole series of what you're doing under Chronicles of Old Singapore. You can actually categorize it and then try and, if there was a theme that you want to create, maybe like Bukit Ho Swee, for example, that's a fantastic one. That one, Bukit Ho Swee, and then the Queenstown, and where else,
Yeah.
If there was something like a naval base, Sembawang, and where else,
Yeah, many of these stories are already being shared, lah. They never die. Just for the listener, we have a little WhatsApp group, right, with Alfred and a couple
Yes.
of the others, and they were sharing about the sports that they competing in and climbing trees and all that kind of things.
Yes.
Which actually make the whole history come alive, doesn't it? Yeah.
So you can also pick some of the stuff from our blog page. Some of the articles down there, you can pick some of those things out, and then, like I said, there's no copyright, nothing. We just want to share our lives,
right. This is Alfred's blog, right? Correct?
No, both ours. We
Okay.
combine, yeah.
I see. What is the title of the blog again?
Naval Base dot blogspot.
No, the title?
We call it B2B, block to block, BLOCK to BLOG. So it's B2B, so block to block. We started off with that way, and then
Okay. So you've contributed as well, lah.
I wrote an article. I think, an article titled "The Naval Base Never Left to Me."
That's nice.
So yeah, we have guys, and then we have this doctor who has now migrated to Australia. He's in his late 80s or early 90s now, so we better catch him.
What's his
Dr.
name? All right.
He is one of the earliest doctors, Asian boy doctors from the Naval Base.
Yeah.
So he's also involved in quite a few things socially with sports club and all that in the Naval Base, and he wrote a few articles for us to share.
Right. And people who want to contribute to the blog can contact you and Alfred.
Yeah, just send the article, and then we will see if it is appropriate. We just post it up. That's it.
Okay. So we encourage anyone who's listening connected to the Naval Base to do so and contact us, to contact Peew and Alfred. I'll drop a link to the blog in the description below.
And they can also freely visit the blog page and then just go through the articles that we have posted.
Yeah, the blog is actually a good resource, right?
There's some photos made available there. I think we have one expert contributed on the railway systems in the Naval Base. The blog.
Yeah, I've been wanting to interview one or two of the Europeans, so that we get the other side of the, Naval Base, right? Isn't it?
Yes. I've got names, guys like Paul Hockey, whom I think he'll be quite willing.
Okay. What was he? He was a serviceman?
He's a son of a serviceman.
Okay.
He knows quite a bit of what the father was doing. And then there's another one who's the daughter of a police inspector. D. Hinton. I hope she can avail herself to share as well.
Right.
There are a few others. Yeah, there are a few others along the way whom I think we can hope to rope them in. Then gives a very well spread.
Correct. Yeah.
recollection of the whole place.
That's right. Yeah. They
Like
ask,
this,
yeah. Ask them what they think of you burgers running around their gardens. How that's like for
yeah.
them. Yeah. So after this, can you start to connect me with the two of them? Let's get
I'll
some
try
of
and
them
send them a message and then,
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, from your latest posting, I can actually draw their attention to.
Okay, great. So they are actually inside the naval base group lah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, last question for you, Pew. You left Singapore in early 90s, right? 90.
In fact, 1992.
What prompted the move?
Family reunion on the wife's side. Her sister migrated here first and got married, settled down, and later invited their parents to retire here in Palmerston North. And following our visit to the family here in 1989, things developed, and then they offered to sponsor us to migrate over under the family reunion scheme. So that's how we got ourselves involved.
Mm-hmm. That's a big decision, isn't it?
Very much so. I got to bring my pillow. I got to bring my walk. What else? I got to pack everything.
Did you bring any old things with you?
About everything in the house which I can't leave behind, I brought over. In fact, the storage space that I had was almost three quarters of a 40-footer container.
Wow. How much did you pay for that? Or you were sponsored, is it?
No. That one we pay ourselves. And then the shipper then suggested for the remaining space, we can sell it to any other party coming this direction. So that's how they fill the 40-foot container.
You brought your furniture as well?
Yes, everything. Like I said, pillow and walk. So nothing was left behind, really.
You couldn't let go of it, right? You didn't want to sell it.
We don't have to buy it for a start.
Right.
Yeah. So we brought everything we could.
I mean, it was a big decision. So what pushed the decision over to the moving side?
Largely also, we are looking at our daughter growing up. She was already the first week of a primary school in Singapore then. So we were looking at, should we give her the education in New Zealand or what, So we debated that a little bit, and then we decided, okay, if she needs to go overseas, she's already overseas from age 7 or so. So we said, okay.
How's the education of New Zealand different from Singapore?
Generally, the class sizes are smaller. So the teacher-pupil ratio is better. And on the top of it, the teacher or the form teacher could ask for a teacher aide to help specific students who are lacking in whatever situation or condition, maybe faculty-wise or whatnot, they're slow learners or whatnot. They are not marginalized. They have a teacher aide to go alongside and help them cope. And we were also quite fortunate we could afford to put our daughter in a private school here, which is within walking distance from home. So save a lot of toing and froing. And their teaching is very different as well.
How's
in a
that?
private school, yeah.
Oh, okay. The teaching is more.
The class size is even smaller than the government schools, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think at this time when she was in school, she had about 18 to a class.
Probably less stressful. Would you say less exam oriented?
Yes. And homework as well. No such pressure. The only homework they might get is a little project assignment which they can bring home to continue to finish and take it back to school the next day.
At the time you were in your mid 40s, I think.
Yes.
Right. And you transitioned to a similar job in New Zealand?
No, I came without a job. I got no job offer, nothing.
Nothing.
Only my wife was offered a job by the sister in their private practice. My sister-in-law was a radiologist in private practice. So there's a vacancy for her. So she got a job there. So I got to start looking for myself.
So did you find a job or become a homemaker?
I started both, and then later on I found a job. I walked the streets. I was doing life insurance sales. And because partly I have insurance background when I was working in the shipyard.
Right.
I was doing the general insurance program for the shipyard before I left them. And along the way, I also took the Singapore life insurance exams. So I had those learnings. So I came over, I just joined one of the insurance companies here to promote their item, the product, to the local Chinese, largely. My neighbors are already Kiwis and all that, so I only lack was Chinese friends. So the only way was just walk the street, knock door to door. And I didn't stay in that industry for too long. And my sister-in-law offered me a position in her practice because her office administrator resigned. And then she threw the offer to me, say, you want to give me a hand here? I say, if you trust me to do it, I'll do it. You know. So I worked for her for a little while, or until she decided to sell the business because she was frustrated with finding locum when she wants to go on leave, annual leave or holidays. And New Zealand is such that if you are in kind of practice, your business cannot be kept open if there's no professional in there. So if it is maybe a medical clinic, you must have a locum doctor in there. Otherwise, you got to close shop while you're away. So for her to get a locum was a big ask because of shortage, and to get somebody over, she has to pay about everything.
I see.
Got to accommodate the guy, provide the travels. And when you add it all up, actually, it's not quite worth going on a holiday.
Was there a sizable Singapore community in New Zealand?
I won't say sizable. Enough of us. Enough of us. Yeah.
Do you all have a Singapore association or club?
Initially, they had, especially from among the ladies, some of whom married the uniform guys, especially the army guys. So they are based in military camp. They start their own Singapore group and things like that.
But that's quite different, right? Were there like, immigrants, like older people, maybe middle age with family?
I really don't know if there was actually a formal kind of association like that or club. But I was told they have, in the university, they have a joint Singapore Malaysia club in the university for the students.
Right. So did the first gen, right? Like did you all hang around with other Singaporean immigrants?
Oh, we do. Yeah.
How did you find each other?
Through connections. Through connections, yeah. Friends and friends of friends say, "Hey, you from Singapore? I know somebody from Singapore as well." So. In Singapore, we never met, but we got to know one another here.
No one from the naval base.
No. Like I said, I came without any friends, no friends.
Right. So when you all meet, is it more to socialize, or did you all organize other kinds of activities?
For our group that I was associated with, more for socializing and catching up with things. Yeah. And those days, karaoke was very popular. So my sister-in-law had a whole set to do karaoke in the house. And then at the time, it was a popular feature in some restaurants and all that. A friend also who runs a restaurant, he also had this facility for us. So yeah, either we have it at home or we socialize at the restaurant. We have a time of crazy singing and things like that, partying.
Final question for you, Peew. So, did you keep in touch with the ex-Naval Base community all this while, or was it at some point that maybe was it because you met up with Alfred again? How did the kind of Facebook blog kind of project, right? How did that come about? When did you first have this online community?
My first contact with the folks back home was on my return visits. And then at the time, the facility that we were accorded was, remember Skype?
Yep.
That was one of the cheaper way of staying in touch with all of them. And later on, when Facebook came to being, a few of my siblings and nephews and nieces were into it. So I was inquisitive as to what are they doing on Facebook. So I started an account just to keep tab with them. And later on, I had a thought, I say, Sophia was already running the old Sembawang Naval Base nostalgic group, and she asked me to give her a hand to operate that. And I said, why not, for good order's sake, have one just for the people living in the naval base, So I started that group, this group called HM Naval Base Singapore, through the ages. So in fact, I wanted to get the people who grew up, like myself, in the base, to share how growing up in the naval base had made them the person they are today. what caused them to do what exposures were they exposed to the changes, Some of them end up in medical lines, some law like Haridas, and, like we have in Subhash and all that, law and all that. So I was trying to capture stories like that for nostalgic reasons. And then this is how I got the Naval Base group going, just to try and attract people who once lived within the Naval Base to share their experiences.
I never knew about this group until you pulled me inside. I only knew about Sophia's group.
In fact, I was having it already when you were interviewing me on the British pull-up. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Because that would have been 2000, sometime in 2000s, right? Where you set up the group.
Yeah. So from there, one thing led to another. Then the blog was Alfred's idea. He says, the Facebook may be a little dry. He said, why don't we get some people to write something? I say, if you can get people to write, so much the better for us. Because he was thinking whether from all the collections within Facebook, where he can make a book of it, make a volume out of it. I say, if there is enough material, I say, go ahead. But with the blog, I think it was easier when you have essays and articles being written. All you need to maybe just edit once again, and refine it once again, and then combine it, bind it into a book.
Yeah, that's the plan now, right? To make it into a book.
So with your podcast, I think it adds a bit more to it. You have visuals, audio visuals to add on. So you see how we can combine the whole thing for us.
Yeah, the different media have got their own strengths, lah. They have got their own audiences, lah. Right?
Yeah.
Because it depends on what we want to achieve. What the community wants to achieve. Do they want to read a book, or do they want to listen to Peew?
Or others along the line.
Or do they want to look at photos, and that photos still have a place to play, lah. Right?
Except some of the photos resolutions are not the best. That's the disappointing part of it. And when I was growing up, particularly, and then while I was working in the finance department, we've been reminded, because we signed the Official Secrets Act, we're not supposed to own a camera.
Right.
So much was lost because of that. And the few photographs that we got the cameras have been smuggled into the base. Like one of my cousins will bring his camera from outside and then take a snap or two. And then later on, when you have this Instamatic, and then made it more easier for a lot of people, without having to buy the rolls of films and developing it. Well, it wasn't cheap though, for us even then, those cameras, Instamatic or otherwise. So we lack those things.
Yeah. No, I don't think we lack photos. We have a lot of photos. Maybe the resolution of some of them are not as good.
Yes,
yeah.
Like you just pointed out, just try and get hold of this guy and see whether he can part the photos to you in trust.
Yeah, let me ask him whether. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to keep his photos, but maybe someone else can, in the group.
Make an album out of it if they can follow the storyline can be drawn from those photographs.
Yeah. The Zoom is telling us less than 10 minutes to go.
Okay.
I had another great round of conversation with you. And this time I think we've cleared up the unfinished business.
Good. You
We
still come back.
We have more business to do. We have to get more people onto the podcast.
Yes, I'll try and urge some of them to give you their feedbacks.
Yeah, you've been trying a lot already, and very thankful for that. So let's do that. All right, let's keep in touch, and more to come on Chronicles of Old Singapore, on the memories of the ex-Navalites of the Naval Base, Kowloon Road, Asian Quarters, and Sembawang Shipyard. Thank you very much, Peew, for coming aboard again.
You're welcome. Thank you again for your efforts. Keep it up.